Good morning. Mr. Williams, you get to pray us in. You're going to pray us in. What number are you? 32.
Let us pray. Almighty, everlasting, thou art eternal God, we thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for the goodness that you provided for us. We thank you for the opportunity to continue to do the work of the people, the state of Georgia. Be with us now. Keep our minds stayed on you. For it is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Y'all all get ready. You're going to start being asked. I love public prayers. I don't understand a thing about the closet yet, but just get ready. And y'all, please forgive me for my voice if I get if I get a little weak. Y'all tell me. All right. Committee chairman to the front. Okay, Mr. Nix.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That may be like the pastor of the day said the other day, the voice of God there, so you're getting close. I would like to ask for two bills today. House Bill 244, that's the annual performance evaluation for our teachers, and there is a Rules Committee sub there. There was a very small error on line 22. The code section 20-2-10 did not have the words code section before it. So that has been corrected through the Rules Committee.
Okay. Have y'all all got that on there? We think it's a Scribner error, and we think that can be handled in rules without having to send this thing back. So y'all just be aware of that one. Ms. Hughley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the author of the bill, I hadn't had time to read the entire bill, but I was curious to note while you all were eliminating the provision for certificated personnel who have deficiencies to have a improvement plan. Is that going away altogether, or is that somewhere else in the bill?
No, that is in the bill. Hold on just one second. That's moved from the section where it is, and it moves to the very towards the back of the bill. Hold on just one second, please, now. I'll give you the reference to it. Look at lines 143 and 145, where we come back in with that provision. 143 says such evaluation results shall also be used to provide high quality, job embedded and ongoing mentoring, support, professional development for teachers, assistant principals, and principals.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Next bill.
Yes, sir. House Bill 226, and this is my ongoing work on the scrap tire bill. This goes and tries to get at the source of that by looking at those people who will be storing and transporting the tires.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
To the wall. Y'all tell us where the bill is on this blue sheet, so that some of us who are lost can find it. Mr. Coleman.
All right, the bill we're looking at now is under modified structure rule. On the back page, it's House Bill 283, and this is a recommendation from the QB Study Commission that worked for 2 years. It's dealing with the Title 20 laws and regulations that we're trying to revise. We're trying to eliminate and update many of them, and that's what this bill basically does.
Any questions? That's the language bill.
That's the language bill. Got lots of language in it. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Coleman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is House Bill 336. It's on page 2, about 3/4 of the way down, under modified structure. This is a bill that's one version or another has been floating around for a couple of years, trying to help litigants resolve motor vehicle accident cases without filing litigation. And so this is a good faith bill. It sets forth parameters of how a settlement is to be reached and what kind of information has to be furnished. And it should reduce litigation. Yeah, acting in good faith as opposed to acting in bad faith.
Nobody has any questions about that bill, do they, if they'll look down and see who the second signer is? No.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
That's a wonderful bill. That's a start. It's taken 3.5 years, if y'all want to know. That's a start. Mr. Broderick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Page 1, under modified open rule, asking for House Bill 219. Very simply, this bill extends to victims of human trafficking and sexual exploitation the same provision that we gave them a couple years ago under House Bill 200, and that is to offer an affirmative defense that they were victims of human trafficking. And there's 2 sections that just deal with cases that are currently being adjudicated and those that have already been adjudicated. So I would ask for your favorable consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions, sir.
Y'all don't mind us. We're having a conversation. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Williams, run-in superstar, Bruce Broderick, excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under modified structure rule on the second page, I'm here on House Bill 302, which is the annual drug update bill that has passed through committee. Just need to see if we can put that on the calendar so we can get it crossed over. And again, it's just a housekeeping bill. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you can.
Now, Mr. Have we had that thing in here before, or is this the first time through?
First time this session, yes, sir.
Okay.
It's an annual drug update.
Okay. My note is it fixed? I don't know. Okay.
All
Any
right.
questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Coomer.
Mr. Chairman, I've always wanted to be on your committee, so I'm just going to come every day until you tell me to quit coming. House Bill 188, which is on page 2, is the Veterans Workforce Bill, and I'm just asking once again for that to be included.
Mr. Benton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Coomer, you and I talked yesterday about this, and I still have, I guess you'd say, a little heartburn about some of this. We know that the conditioned air folks are opposed to it. Why can't they just be left out if all the others are wanting to be left in? And I called some plumbers and some electricians back home yesterday, and they really don't like this bill either, and they don't understand why their association is supporting the bill. And if this is a good thing to do, and I'm all for doing for veterans, but if this is a good thing to do for veterans, then why don't we just open up all the licenses to them? I'm sure that there's some JAG attorneys that would love to not have to take the state bar, and pharmacists that worked in the military that don't have to take that. If you can't pass a test, then you don't need to be doing these things. And I think that we're setting these people up for failure. Is there anything in there that will teach them how to run a business? I think ought to be the first thing that they have to do.
So I understand, are you suggesting that the state should require people to have some permission to start a business?
No, but we have a lot of people that start businesses that don't know anything about business.
That's right, I understand.
And so if we're going to give them I hesitate to use the word free ride to get into to a business, and there's not anybody in these occupations that can't find a job working for one of these professions and work under the license of the owner. So I've got some real heartburn about you go in and wire a house wrong and you burn down a house or you electrocute somebody. So I wondering if you had any ideas about taking the conditioned air folks out and maybe just opening it up to everybody.
Well, I think it would be irresponsible to do something that expansive, because what we're trying to do is in a very limited, narrow, and focused way address two specific problems, or two specific opportunities, really. One is in the next 4 years, we'll have 80,000 veterans leaving active service and living in the state of Georgia. Those are going to be people who are going to be on unemployment unless they have some full-time employment. We'll be paying their unemployment benefits until they get work. The other side of the equation is we have literally tens of thousands of unfilled skilled labor positions in Georgia that require some level of certification in order for those people to do those jobs. What we're trying to do is match up those veterans who have acquired the appropriate skill through military training, testing, and expertise and experience that will have those qualifications that already meet or exceed Georgia qualifications to be able to get right into the workforce, not as a general unskilled laborer who can maybe carry things from the truck to the house, but who can actually do the entry-level skilled trade jobs and get those folks to work, fill those open positions that already exist in Georgia's workforce, and really drive our economic engine in the skilled trades arena. I'm sure we've all read those stories about skilled trade vacancies all over the place, and Georgia's no exception. We have a plan. I think this is a plan that will drive skilled laborers into the workforce.
But can I follow up, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, y'all remember this ain't debate time. Go ahead.
But okay, but if the skills are out there, then those positions are going to be filled. Whether they have a license or not, they can work under the license of the person that they're working for. Is that not true? That
is not true. We had that very discussion in committee, and counsel for the committee pointed to the code section that demonstrated that was, in fact, a misunderstanding by those folks who were advocating that position.
Ms. Drenner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to express some concern with regard to the bill. I wholeheartedly support veterans being put back into the workforce, but the fact that they have to pass a state test is a concern to me, that we are bypassing that particular requirement when we are requiring others to do so. So I share the same concerns that Chairman Benton does.
May I respond briefly?
Yes.
First of all, this bill doesn't exempt anybody from taking any test. It only establishes a committee to review military standards to determine whether any kind of waiver would be appropriate. So we're not exempting anyone from testing. Secondly, if you want to think of it this way, it's somewhat analogous to reciprocity with other states. We already have that with some states where we say their requirements meet or exceed our requirements, and therefore we waive them in. We don't make them take a test. Unlike those other states, the military doesn't have an agency that's reaching out to us to try to get reciprocity. So we're setting up this committee to see if the military has standards that would meet or exceed ours, similar to other states.
Thank you, Mr. Coomer. I would suggest that Mr. Benton and Mr. Coomer sit down for a little bit together today, because I want to put that thing on the floor, and I want you to know that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Air Neal. Is that what we go there?
Morning, Mr. Chairman. You can call me whatever you like.
You know, everybody's real nice here.
Following that long conversation, Mr. Chairman, it's my goal to be very brief. House Resolution 205 on the last page, third from the bottom, is our annual property conveyance resolution for state properties, and would certainly ask favorable consideration to place that on the calendar and let us move that onto the Senate.
Any questions? Thank you. Did you have a good trip?
They wore me out, but it was very enlightening.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, members. Mr. Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Two bills under modified open rule, HB 384. HB 384 is a bill that just simply says that if you are going to allow golf carts in your cities or communities, that you have to post a sign as they come in on state routes, letting everyone know. Currently, the law states that you have to have one at every single intersection within the town. There's been a task force that was formed. They come up with this language. They were worried about that there wasn't any cities that was complying with it except for maybe Peachtree City. So they asked to bring this legislation forward. GMA, ACCG, and all signed off on it. They all support it. HR 281, simply just to name Tift County, actually in honor of the guy that it was meant to be named after, which is Henry Harding Tift. They had, back years ago, whenever they drafted the charter, they actually named it after his uncle instead of him, who wasn't even from Tift County. So
how many years ago was that?
Years and years ago.
And somebody can remember that.
Yeah.
So they're having a Tift in Tift County.
Yes, absolutely. So
I know anybody groans, get your butts out.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Number 9,
Mr. Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 213 on the back of the sheet places a pharmacist as the gatekeeper of your private information whenever there's national accreditation. And also, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask for our annual housekeeping bill 302, Representative Broderick.
Which one was that last one?
House Bill 302.
Mr. Hamilton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move that we put House Bill 393 back into committee, which it came Industry and Labor.
You've heard a move from Mr. Hamilton. All in favor? How about this? Anybody opposed? Thank you. It's back. It goes back to committee. Ms. Cooper. And you're going to ask for 315 too, right? Thank you. Mr. Weldon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to ask for House Bill 336. It's a good bill. Thanks, sir.
Mr. Smith.
I'd like to ask for House Resolution 274, so the Army reconsider the socioeconomic impact that the programmatic environmental assessment will have on Fort Benning and the surrounding area. They anticipate a sales volume drop of over $400 million and a regional income drop of about $350 million if this goes through.
Any questions of Mr. Smith? Mr. Lindsay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I previously asked for, just want to, in case anyone has any questions, HB 123, the Parent and Teacher Empowerment Act, HB 141, which deals with human trafficking and posting of a notice, and I will work with Representative Roberts on having an amendment on the floor to take care of his concerns. as well as HB 199, which simply allows us to take care of water needs in local areas, both by reservoirs and conservation. And then HB 361 and HB 362, which deals with enforcing our right to work status as a state.
Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just asking for House Bill 226, Randy Nix's bill. Thank you.
Anyone else?
That's it. Nope, 35.
We're going to have a Mr. Lindsay Day on the floor one of these first.
Ms. Hughley. I look forward to that day.
Ms. Hughley?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask for House Bill 187 on behalf of Ms. Dickerson. Please.
Anybody else? All right, ready? This is for tomorrow's calendar. Under modified open, let's get one of Mr. Lindsay's out of here. HB 141, do I hear move?
Move.
Anybody opposed? It's on. Under modified open, we'll let Ms. Dickerson have 187.
Move.
Anybody opposed? Under modified open, HB 252.
Move.
Anybody opposed? It's on. Under modified open, HB 328.
Move.
Anybody opposed? Under modified open, HB 329.
Move.
Anybody opposed? Modified structure, HB 226.
Move.
Anyone opposed? It's on. Modified structure, HB 315.
Move.
Anybody opposed? Modified structure, oh, the best bill, HB 336.
Move.
Anybody gonna oppose that one? Wrong move. That's good faith. I'm trying to give you some good faith here. Okay, under modified structure, HR 205.
Move.
Do I hear any opposition? Under structure, HB 210. Anybody opposed? It carries. Y'all bear with me a minute.
These two go together. Okay.
199. What is 199? We'll do it day after, but you need to answer something for me on that one. You need to talk to me about that a little bit. Okay. Modified open. HB 384. Anybody opposed? Okay, one more. HB 302. Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Mr. Chairman, can we hold on that for one day? Just some questions that came up. No problem. It's all good.
Okay, that's the counter.